Good morning. So, have you ever wished that your brain had an off switch? I know at one point I actually asked my doctor, I was like, is there any way you can just, I don't even care if it's like right here out of my neck, just so it shuts up? And the best he could offer was sleep medication. So, I started looking into ways to quiet the mind. Um, I actually studied some Buddhist principles about, just observing the thought, excuse me, observing the thought, not becoming the thought, and found some ways because one of the things about when your brain is just racing, 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 it's really hard to create any type of good decisions about positive thoughts, especially if you can't sleep. And I know myself, um, when I was first going into this healing process, I had post narcissistic PTSD, and everything would trigger. It was insane. I could be in the grocery store, and if a song came on that for whatever reason triggered the emotion, I just felt like, I just felt like this fragile thing that was responsive to everything around me, and it was crazy. Like your nerves are outside your body. Um, and the flip side of that is when we experience those emotional triggers and it creates that chemical reaction in our brain can't tell the difference between an emotion that we're experiencing in the present moment, the present situation, or an emotion that is just coming up from a memory. And what happens over time as your brain continues to create these stress chemicals, and especially when it's a past situation, we can't change the past. So we have to retrain our brain to work for us in the way that it responds to our environment so that we can stop this rampant production of stress chemicals because over time it creates inflammation in the body. And this leads to disease. Like myself, I had developed a laundry list of autoimmune disorders from this brain activity that kept me in this constant state of stress, which then caused inflammation in the body. And it's just this cycle. You have to break the cycle. And then once you remove or relieve the source of stress, the body starts to heal too. And I know that I've focused a lot on thoughts here in the last few videos because that's the foundation of change. And I printed the quote out because I butcher quotes like a fiend. Like I know them, I know the concept, but when I go to say them, they're horrible. So watch your thoughts because they become words. Watch your words, they become action. Watch your action, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny. And when we talk about thoughts creating reality, that's, our thoughts direct our actions. Excuse me. And our thoughts in the present moment and the choices that we make create our future reality. So if we're operating from this place of absolute chaos in the brain and inflammation and illness in the body, we're not going to make great decisions because we're just trying to keep our head under control. So one of the things that we were taught in school, how to use our brain to think. And that was it. I can do math with my brain. I can do English with my brain. But no one taught me how to train my brain to work for me as far as emotions and disciplining the thoughts or even where the thoughts come from. There's so much that it's an amazing tool, our brain, but we're not taught how to use it. Only for specific things and really overall, not the most important things. Because no matter how great you are at math, if you're in this confusion of an unruly, crazy-ass brain, you're not going to get very far with it. And one of the main things, especially with the overactive brain, is sleep. Trying to get to sleep. Because what happens when we lay down and all of a sudden you're in a quiet room and the thoughts. And there you are. And then, like, I know in my situation, when I when my body was still and I laid down to rest, that would just, the thoughts would just start, and it was negative. And again, it's the emotions and the triggers, and all of this was happening right before I went to sleep. Well, if I did finally get to sleep, then I had nightmares. And so it's like, do I even want to sleep? So one of the things that is helpful for calming the brain, you can do breathing exercises. And it's kind of along the same lines as counting sheep, but it focuses your brain. And if you like breathe in for 4 breaths, breathe out for 4 breaths. So in 1, 2, 3, 4, out 1, 2, 3, 4, or inhale positivity, exhale negativity. And just say those words to yourself, and it creates this like mantra, and it keeps your brain busy until you just fall asleep. One of the things that I also like to use is visualization. I have so much trouble saying that word. Positive visualization. So if you're in a situation that's been weighing on your mind, and that's what your mind is racing about, do the breathing, get centered, calm yourself, and use your mind to visualize as if you're in that moment. The situation that you're concerned about, or even if you're just in a bad place emotionally, visualize yourself running through a field of flowers or whatever makes you happy. But keep that in your mind and visualize positive outcomes. Really feel the emotion of something really wonderful happening, because that gets your brain in this positive chemical space before you fall asleep. So then when you do fall asleep, your subconscious mind isn't drowning in stress chemicals, so you're less likely to have the nightmares. And then, keep a notebook by your bed, because like when you do the positive visualization, a lot of times your subconscious mind is still working while you're asleep, and you may come up with either great ideas in your dreams or when you first wake up in the morning about resolving a situation that you've been dealing with, or positive steps that you could take to better your situation. So this is another way, when you put information into your brain, like with the positive visualization, it still works for you, but you have to give it something to work on. Otherwise, it's just doing whatever. And a guided meditation, if you're just starting to learn how to really monitor your thoughts, you're trying to get that drunk monkey brain to calm down, guided meditation is nice, because that gives you words to focus on. And there's usually like soft music in the background, and that will help, again, focus your brain so it's not just and calm your body. And it usually talks you down, relaxing your body, and that can help you really get to sleep. And again, you've got very good brain chemicals going in before you go to sleep, so you're less likely again to have the nightmares or the night sweats and terrors and things that come with those repeated negative thought patterns. You can also use like just white noise. Like if you can hear, I've got a fountain going in the background, because for meditation, for me, just having a consistent sound, it could be, a fountain, or you can even get white noise machines, or sleep subliminals, because there are sleep subliminals and guided meditations. I mean, you can find them on YouTube, just do a search, and they're great ones. But the sleep subliminals work to program your brain while you're sleeping, because in that state, when you're sleeping, your brain is very open to suggestion. So that's another way to help with healing with any of the subconscious blocks or issues that you've been dealing with. The sleep subliminals will just pour that positive information into your brain while you're sleeping. When you first wake up, and this is a key thing, and it takes a while to see results, just because we're so ingrained in our old habits. When you first wake up, watch your thoughts. Because so many times we'll go to bed, and while we're sleeping, our brain is not thinking about the problem. You know, if we've managed to get it on a good spot, but our brain will be a clean slate when we wake up. A lot of times, though, if you're going through a stressful situation, or you'd like the PTSD thing where it's just constant, the first thought in your head when you lift up from the pillow is that negative thought that you were trying to get out the night before. And that's where, again, redirecting your thoughts, it's like you wake up and the first thing you think about is, I have no money. Like, wait, okay, I could use some more money, but today's a new day. Anything is possible. I'm in a great position to start fresh. And I've already got, and this is where you start the gratitude, so that your brain is thinking about things that you're grateful for, the positive things in your life. Start that good, positive chemical dump in the brain again. Now, when you first start doing this, you may not make it through brushing your teeth before it kind of get off track. But again, it's training. You're teaching, you're disciplining your brain. And it's been running around like, I use drunk monkey, but it's also like a toddler, you know, doing whatever for however many years you've been on the planet, because we weren't taught how to discipline our brain or monitor our thoughts or do any of these things to actually make our brain work for us instead of just beating the living crap out of us. It's an amazing tool that we can use in so many positive ways, but we were never shown how to do that. So instead, most of us go through life just victims of these random thoughts and all this stuff that it creates in our body. And, you know, before you know it, you're just trying to survive because your brain is just like, oh. I mean, that's how I felt, at least when I was going through this process. I was like, my God, can I get a lobotomy? This thing's making me crazy. So yeah, once you get consistent and you form this new habit with your brain, with the disciplining of your thoughts and really getting it under control, it's going to be a completely different life experience when you're able to really control your thoughts, because again, your thoughts create your reality. And so that's why I focus so much on the thoughts, because that's like the foundation for any other change that you want to make in your life, is you've got to get this thing to behave. So I hope this was helpful. Also, if you guys have any suggestions about content you'd like to hear, things that I could help with, I just started the channel because I wanted to share the things that I've learned. I finally, I've got my coaching together where I understand how to deliver it now. Also, please like and share if this has been helpful for you. Again, the more people that we have on this planet who have learned how to control their brains and live happy lives, the better experience we all have as a collective. So, thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful. I will talk to you soon. Love and light.